Hello everybody, this is Steve or Superfraud on the forums. This is the first tutorial for c4dmodels.com. Hope everyone's going there and uploading lots of free snazzy stuff. Basically I'm just going to play around with spline dynamics, maybe a tracer object, and make like a dangling chain with Splinewrap and a cloner. So that's just kind of what I was screwing around with right there. We'll maybe make a mace out of that. So I'll probably screw up a bunch of times. That's okay. Here we go. So let's go ahead and just make a new file here. And the first thing, if we're going to make a mace, let's go ahead and make a sphere. And we're going to change the sphere type to that works. And then we'll make a cone for the spikes. And then let's make a cloner object. And let's throw this under there. And let's go to the cloner object properties. And for the mode, we want object. And for the object, we want sphere. And the reason it's doing that is a number of reasons. First thing, let's do a polygon center while we're in there. Let's kill the cloner object. Let's kill the sphere. And let's just lower some settings on this. We're going to make the height segments, well, we only need one. And the rotation segments we'll just make 8. That's good enough for what we're doing. Let's make it editable. We're going to change the axis center. So let's go to structure, axis center to all the way down on Y. Execute. Close that. And just to clean it up, let's put that at 0 right there. So probably have to size this down to be spike size. And now we'll go to the sphere, reactivate it. Probably don't need quite so many segments. Let's lower it down to, that's probably good. And we'll reactivate our cloner object, and it looks like it's oriented on the wrong axis there, so I'm probably doing this wrong, but let's see, up vector, that's not going to do it. So easy way to do it, just go to transform, and that's not it. There we go. So let's do that -90. Okay, and we can probably shrink those down again quite a bit here. So that's looking good. Okay, so we've got our spike thing. And now we can make that editable as well, so that we can attach that to our spline with spline dynamics. So now we're going to make a handle for it. Let's go ahead and just make a cylinder, and we'll move that up to, say, right about there. That looks good to me. That's probably good. And we'll move that to about right there. We'll make that editable as well. Now we have to make our chain, so I'm going to go ahead and hide our stuff so I can see what I'm doing here. Make a torus, and the torus is going to, doesn't need to be too terribly big. They're on polygon, so I'm going to say 10 and 7 and make that editable. And then let's go to our top view here, and we'll make sure we take out only select visible, select those guys right there, and I'm going to go ahead and just bevel those. So go to bevel, and that's probably good right about there. Switch to polygon mode, and we will select those guys right there. And you know what? I don't need to do it that way. Let's do it this way. And we'll just stretch that out so that's like a chain. And we're going to go back to structure, access center, and this time we want it to go to 0. Execute that. Let's get rid of that guy. Centered that. This is probably way too big. Yeah, it's way too big. That's not a big deal. We'll shrink it down so it's about what we want. That's probably about right. Alright, now I'm going to make another cloner object for the chain. So obviously we need some changes there. Let's go to the cloner object, and all we need to do is we're going to want to rotate it let's go transform. I'm going to play this game again. There we go. So that's got to be 90. And let's go back to the object tab, and then let's see which one it was. Never good at this. I always forget which axis I'm doing. Alright, so this is going to be 90 right here. So we got our chain look there. Probably need a little more distance. So that's good. That's going to be good. Alright, let's go ahead and just move it so we can see what we're looking at here. I'm going to turn back my cloner. So that's about right. So looks like I moved it in the X and the Z. Not that it matters. Alright, so now all we need to do is have a spline between here and here. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a Bezier spline. And I'm going to put a few more points than really is necessary, because when we put spline dynamics on, I think it gives it more to work with. Again, this is all Steve theory. It could be totally wrong. Now that we've got that, all we have to do is highlight the first point, and now we're going to go to hair, do constraint. For the object, we're going to do the cylinder, which is our handle, and do set. And now our sphere, we're going to do the same sort of thing. So I'm going to make another constraint tag, constraint, oops, but you know, we want to highlight the other end first. And we're going to go to hair, constraint, drop in our sphere, and then we're going to set that bad boy. And so now all we need to do is go back to hair, and we're going to do spline dynamics. Okay, now before we start doing anything wacky, I'm going to get this sphere and make another constraint tag, and we're going to go to spring, and the target we're going to do the cylinder. Okay, you'll see why in a second, hopefully. Okay, now whenever I play around with constraint tags, I like to make little keyframes where things are at in case anything gets insane. I don't have a jumbled mess everywhere, so I'm going to do that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put this cloner object under a null. And we're going to MoGraph, and we're going to go to Splinewrap, and we're going to drop that under the null with the cloner object. And for the spline, we're going to use that. And as you can see, it looks insane. Not exactly what we want at all. And the way we fix that is change the axis to y plus. Okay, now let the fun begin. I'm going to get this cylinder. I'm going to go ahead here to frame 30, and let's just move it to right there. So that's kind of working. And then we'll go to frame 90 and we'll rotate it around maybe a little bit. I don't know if that'll make much difference. And we'll put it right there. So okay, it looks like that constraint tag does not see that this guy is moving. So I'm wondering if I go to that constraint tag, which I believe is this one, if there's a priority. I don't see one. So there might be here. Let me do initial dynamics. Generators, expression, animation. There we go. And so now we've got a ball and chain. All right, go to the site and upload lots of models, because it's supposed to be free, and I just want a site where everyone can get free models. I remember when I was first starting out, real pain in the ass to get anything worth getting, really. Even Turbo Squid seems to have a real lack of Cinema 4D models. And I got a killer domain name, so yeah, talk to you later.